Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of BAM GPG. So, Bryson, I wanted to talk about Jaire Alexander today. So, the dust has settled. It's been a few days since Green Bay's decided to move on from Jaire Alexander. Kind of saw it coming, kind of didn't. We got further and further into the offseason. I really felt like, Green Bay would bring him back because of the lack of activity we've had this offseason when it comes to the secondary or the cornerback position specifically, right? We didn't address anybody in the draft, and we weren't active in free agency. Outside of Nate Hobbs, who's certainly not a cornerback one by any means. At best he's a CB3. But we have Keyshawn Nixon still on the roster, not a cornerback one.
Best he's a CB2.
Yeah, absolutely. So I understand, we played a lot last year without Jaire Alexander. Defense looked good at times, but the defense can look better, right? If you can get a solid guy in there who you don't have to pull shift coverages from side to side, depending on who you're facing. Like if you got a Justin Jefferson, you have a guy that you can match up one-on-one with Alexander, right? Now you don't have that. So now you have to scheme differently than what you would if you had a true cornerback one. And I understand, Halfley did a great job last season, right? Scheming without Jaire Alexander, but it just makes your defense so much better when you have that cornerback one. It frees up a lot on the defensive side and really allows you to do a lot more things strategically with the defense when you have a guy that you can trust at cornerback one. As it looks right now, Green Bay doesn't have that guy. They moved on from him, and I understand it, right? He's missed a ton of games the last 2-3 seasons. That completely understand that, right? But on the flip side, what are you going to do to replace him, right? How do you unlock the next level of your defense without a true cornerback one? That's the question for me. And again, I think we'll be fine defensively. Without him, we were for the majority of last season, but you want to take that defense to the next level. You want to be able to scheme certain ways, and you can't do that without a true cornerback one. And there are some options still available out there. Not a whole lot in free agency. It's getting pretty picked over. You have a former Packer and Rasul Douglas. Didn't have a great season last year with Buffalo, Bryson. I think we were just looking through that. Did have a great 23, but his 24 season wasn't anything spectacular. Yeah, he's been in Green Bay before, but it is a completely different system than what we had under Joe Barry. That brings me to the other guy that there's some history specifically when Rodgers was on the team, but Jalen Ramsey, right? So Miami's looking at moving away from him. To me, it's similar to the Jaire situation where they're trying to kind of cut some cap space, right?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at him here real quick. So Jalen Ramsey, he is 30 years old, so he's got some gas left in the tank. And you look right off the bat, you want to see availability because you don't want to be in the same boat as you were last year. And his snap count last year, he had over 1,000 snap count, so he's available. His overall grade was 76.9, and his coverage grade was a 71.9. So he's out there. He would certainly, he's probably still not one of those top 5, top 3 cornerbacks in the league anymore, but he certainly would fill the void of cornerback one if that's what you're looking for. I know Green Bay's kind of exploring a little bit. Who was that the receiver, Bryson, they had playing cornerback in practice here?
Bo Melton.
Bo Melton. That's interesting. Maybe he can pick it up. We'll see. Kind of your lesser version of Travis Hunter, if you would, if he was able to do that. I do know Bo Melton's brother is a cornerback too, so maybe there's some crossover there. But again, if you have Bo Melton out there playing some corner, you're probably not going to be lining him up against guys like Justin Jefferson, guys like T. Higgins, guys like Jamar Chase, right? Bryson and I were combing through the schedule. We have a ton of great wide receivers on the schedule this year.
Specifically, I was looking at the Bengals game.
That one, yes, that's going to be a tough matchup. They got two terrific wide receivers there in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So it's going to be tough without a CB1. You know, can it be schemed up? Yeah, absolutely, it can be.
Justin Jefferson 2 times on our schedule. We
Yes.
got Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Twice. Yep.
Yeah. We have DK Metcalf.
Yep. That'll be the Pittsburgh game.
We have Week 17, the Ravens. They have some good tight ends.
Yes. So there's some tough matches. A lot of good wide receivers on the schedule this year. It'll be interesting to see what Green Bay does. You know, I think we'll probably play it out as it is, but we'll see. Maybe we'll be surprised. You know, we have some guys coming up on contract, specifically on the offensive line, so it does make sense to free up some of that cap space by moving on from Jaire to pay the guys that you currently have. Understand that, got it, but it doesn't.
If you do that, I'd expect you to take somebody from the draft.
Yeah, which is puzzling, right? So if the intention was all along to move on from Jaire Alexander, really surprised that they didn't pick up a cornerback in the draft, at least in the first 3 rounds, right? We went 2 wide receivers in the first 3 rounds of the draft this year and kind of neglected the cornerback position. So it'll be interesting. Maybe, you know, this salary cap frees up some space to go after a guy like Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati. It doesn't look like things are smoothing over there for him, so we'll see what happens there. But as I mentioned previously, I kind of think Green Bay stays put. That's just been kind of our MO. But it'll be interesting. You know, I love Jaire. He was fun on the Packers. Wish him nothing but the best. We'll see where he ends up. Of course, you know, if he does end up with in a place like Minnesota, you know, I wish him nothing but the worst, naturally.
He ends up in the Ravens so he can come back to Lambeau.
Yeah, that would be fun. It's his old college teammate, I believe, Lamar Jackson. I think him and Jaire played together in college there, so that would make sense. And Baltimore needs a cornerback, so I would much rather see that happen than to see him go to Minnesota, of course. But again, wish him nothing but the best. He's a fun player, interesting guy. Certainly brought a different dynamic to the locker room. It's unfortunate it couldn't work out for Green Bay. He couldn't stay healthy, couldn't stay out on the field. But it happens. It's the NFL, it's a business. Green Bay moved on from him, so it's kind of turning the page to what's next. And we're super excited for this upcoming season. Got a ton of great games this year. Got Aaron Rodgers on the schedule this year.
Yes, against Pittsburgh.
Against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. So that is
I was hoping that one was in Green Bay, though, because
that would have been fun, seeing Rodgers come back to Lambeau, but certainly don't want to miss that one. I think we're going to have to make that trip over to Pittsburgh, Bryson, to watch Jordan Love versus Aaron Rodgers. That'll be a blast.
if any of your Packers fans go there, try the Philly cheesesteak.
Yes, Bryson we went to the playoff game in Philly last year, and Bryson immediately fell in love with the old Philadelphia cheesesteak. So he's looking forward to getting his mitts on one of those again. So that might be his opportunity when we're out there in Pennsylvania for that Rodgers versus Love game. So we're excited for that. And if anybody else is attending that game, let us know. We'd be excited to meet up with some of you guys and
or any of the games in general.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be at Lambeau quite a bit this coming fall and winter. So it'll be a good time. So as we kind of navigate through this off season, we'll bring you some more updates and talk some more Packer football. And as always, Bryson,
It's Go Pack Go.